Good morning, church. We're so glad that you are here with us. I'm here right now with Emma and Emily, and we are so excited because we're just going to have a conversation reflecting on our missions trip experience. We had so much fun, and God did so many wonderful things, so we just want to share that with you all. So we're going to dive into some questions. So you guys know I prepped you before. So can you just explain, what were the 3 churches we were at? What kind of experiences did we have at each of them? What was the worship like? What was different, exciting, all of that?
We went to 3 churches. Mm-hmm. I think it was Roxbury, Wickahisson, and Atonement. Mm-hmm. And we went to, I think, one of them for 2 nights and then the other for each of the nights. And each of them had a different worship style. I think one night was rap.
Mm-hmm. The first night you got there, right? You walk in, the floor shaking.
What were the other ones? I don't remember.
Wissahickon, I feel like that was kind of similar. It wasn't much rap, but it was kind of how we do it here, just kind of worship and then the message. Mm-hmm. And Atonement was more, I feel Catholic style, where you have a lecture that you read through and you respond to the priest and all of that.
Yeah. So that one was Episcopalian. So we kind of talked through the liturgy. So the order of the service was a little bit more structured. But that one was really cool with Pastor Jason. I feel we got a lot out of his message. So did any of those resonate, one more than the other with you in the style of worship that we encountered?
The rap was really cool because it was kind of connecting today's culture with God, so it was kind of a blend of the two. But Atonement was my favorite just because it was kind of it's not just us. We were a call and response with the pastor. So that was kind of cool to have a different style that we normally don't get to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything to add, Emma?
I like the rap too. Kind of the same thing. I liked how it was different. I've never done anything like that before, at least. And it was interesting to see how you can basically, what Emily said, take culture stuff from today, rap, and just kind of make it into praising Jesus and worshiping him.
Yeah. So cool. I loved seeing you guys encounter all of the different kinds of worship and just being fully there. It was so much fun. So we also had a bunch of different groups that we divided into. So we had our van groups, we had our work groups, we had our room groups. So we kind of got, as a small group of only 12 kids, we got to know everybody. So was there someone in particular that you got to know better this week? Or what did that look like for you, being able to have all those different groups?
I personally liked how it was split up because I feel I got to interact with everybody at a point, especially people I would have never talked to before. My van group and even my work group, just I wouldn't really spoken to them if I was with my friends the entire time. Mm-hmm. And the van ride back, I really got to know Emily, and our music taste is really similar. So now it's we're just always text each other and be oh, I found this song, or comparing playlists, and that's really fun.
That's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah, I got to know Emma a lot better. We started playing ultimate frisbee games on the lawn, which was a great way to get to know everyone and kind of encourage people that may not have done it before. Mm-hmm. Now we share music tastes all the time, like she said. Also, I got to know Dylan Fink a lot better. We had never known each other much before, but he was in, I think, one of my groups, and that was pretty fun to see him come out of his shell and do things he normally wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was such a fun experience for me because it was really my first big in-person kind of experience at this church, and so getting to know all of you guys and just seeing everybody be one big group playing Ultimate or playing cards after a long day of work, that was just so much fun, and I loved getting to know all of you guys too. So, question. This is my favorite question. Funny moment from the week. We laughed a lot on this trip. So I know it's hard to pick one.
One that comes to mind was we were in the van coming home from one of the worship nights, and we all did van sing-alongs. But a lot of us would be singing off key and clapping off beat, and Ella Gerard, who's a percussionist, she would get so mad because we were all clapping off beat, and she would be no, that's not how you do it. That's pretty funny.
I love it. Love it. One that is my favorite, I think my favorite moment from the whole week was when we did the hoodie leg challenge during chapel. And so the best way to explain it is like the leaders had their legs in these hoodies, and like it was Dave, Kime, Ella, and was it Nathan, I think? And they were supposed to race around the room, and they were just like hunched over in these hoodies. And beginning of the race, Ella just makes a beeline for Dave, knocks him over, and he's just stuck under this pew. And so the kids are running around. Ella and Nate make it back, and they're just like jumping up and down, and poor Dave is just stuck there. We're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? He was totally fine, but that was one of my favorite moments.
One of my favorite moments was on the work site. There was a dog in one of the neighboring yards, and just like every time we'd walk by, it would like bark or something. And it was a pit bull, so we named it Mr. 305. So like every time we'd go by, we'd like say hi or do something, and that was just, it was funny.
I love it. For worldwide. So what was one skill that you learned during the week that maybe you didn't know before?
I learned how to make a chain link fence, which I never really would have learned that before, so
Yeah.
It's interesting to see like how it went up and like how everything went together, and like to see the finished product was really cool too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think a skill I learned was working with like the VBS kids was patience, because you forget, like sometimes kids don't know how to do things, or they just don't like understand, so you have to like kind of put aside what you were doing and like reserve a few minutes just to like help them out with stuff. So patience was definitely a struggle.
Yeah. But you guys did great. I learned how to set a fence post with cement and everything. And I was like, oh, this is a random skill that I now know how to do. We'll see if I ever use it again. But very fun learning all these different things. And Christine taught us how to properly wipe down a table. So we all got that down now. So what is one faith habit that you took away from the trip, whether you started it during the trip or something that you took away and learned and want to start doing or already have started doing as you've been home?
I've just found myself like praying a lot more, like not even like really long ones, but just like something happens, I just like shoot up a quick prayer and just kind of go about what I was doing, that really wasn't my first instinct before the trip, but now I just kind of feel like that's my first thing to go to now.
I think one of mine is we used to do like the devotionals every morning, and they would have like a way to structure your prayers, like into like asking God for things and thanking Him and asking for like forgiveness and stuff. So usually my prayers are just kind of all over the place, but I've been trying to like keep them more structured so I actually know what I'm trying to say.
So where did you see God during this trip? Like, is there one moment that stood out or something that you saw throughout the week where you're like, oh, that was God?
I think a big one for us was like on the first day of our vacation Bible school, there was like no kids that showed up, and so it was really hard to make like connections and because each kid having their own personal like counselor wasn't really working out. So we kind of prayed that there were a lot more kids would show up so that we could like teach the gospel to more kids, and then the next day like double the amount of kids showed up. So that was really cool to see God like kind of make the camp a lot bigger so that we could do what He needed us to do.
Yeah.
I think mine's more general, but it's kind of seeing how everyone like grew throughout the week. It was just kind of cool to see like everyone growing together, and then closer to God, just everyone being like so motivated to go to church and like excited to do things, and it was really cool to see that like shift in everyone's mentality.
I loved it too. And like during our Friday night circle, I think I shared it with you guys, but literally each one of you, as you were sharing how you encountered God during the week or just how you had grown, like each one of you shared something that I'd been praying over you. And so like that was God for me. I was like, God is just working in each and every one of you. And that's so exciting. And so I'm excited moving into the fall of like this momentum that we have and the excitement of all the things that we have to come. So it's really cool. So we all wrote care cards to each other, and I know mine are very special to me and I still am treasuring them. So can you guys just explain what care cards are and how those impacted you when you got home?
They're basically just kind of things that you write down about the person. Like I waited to the end of the week for most of mine. Like I just added like moments that I liked with the person or how I like saw God working through them, and like some people add like Bible verses for the person and just kind of like words of encouragement, like glad you came on the trip and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like you write one for each person so that you kind of make a point to have like encourage yourself to spend time with that person, which is a good thing because then you get like memories with them you never would have known. And like I still have all mine pinned up on my wall so that like if ever I'm like feeling sad or something, I just look at them and like I know that like these people like actually care about us and like all the memories that we had.
Yeah, so cool. Overall, it was such a good trip. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to share that we didn't talk about? Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing. And we're so glad that you were able to experience just a little taste of what our missions trip was like, church. It was just so good. And we're genuinely so excited to see how God continues to work in student ministry as we move forward towards the fall. So thank you for joining us. And we're going to actually pass it over. You get to see a couple more testimonies from our students and a sneak peek into all the work that we were doing at the Philly Project.